Buxton homers twice. Not enough, though, as the Twins can't rally late. They get swept versus Milwaukee. Final score today, 9-8. Full deep dive coming up next. Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. That's my main man, Theo Tollefson at Theodore Tollef1. Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. Theo, this team's lost 8 of their last 9. You've given up 35 runs in this 3-game series. I mean, that alone is kind of mind-boggling. 12, almost 12 runs per game, 3 games in a row. But, a loss is a loss either way. But you and I were just chatting right before the show. I guess I'd rather lose 9-8 and get some entertainment out of my day than what we got the first 2 games when the bats just looked fried and kind of dried out in the heat, so to speak, right? I don't know. Just trying to find a positive here. Help me out.
I mean, sure, you'd rather have that, but getting swept, your 4th sweep of the year in a series, you definitely should have at least avoided that in. And I feel like each of their sweeps this year are series they could have won at least 1 game, if not 2. And now they are here. They're 37-40. I mean, it's not out of reach yet, but it is looking dismal. Thankfully, Buxton is picking things up. Brooks Lee turned things around, had a 4-hit day, but the pitching is just completely falling apart since Pablo Lopez got put on the shelf. And you also lost Zebby Matthews in there, and everything's just on the brink. So it's very hard to try to find those positive spins for this team right now.
Yeah, well said. Lots to get into. What went wrong and when it went wrong. Biggest turning points in today's game. Plus, like you mentioned, this season, we've just all kind of been waiting for Byron Buxton. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download that Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. A quick little recap if you missed it. Twins Brew Crew, right? Border battle, game 3, trying to avoid the sweep. Looked atrocious the first 2 games. You got David Festa back on the mound. Another rough go at it, man. 4 2/3, 12 hits, allowed 8, just 3 Ks on the day. That puts the Twins in a big hole. Down 9-3, 6th inning. Twins started chipping away a little bit, right? Buxton hits his 2nd homer. That makes it 9-4. Twins score 2 more in both the 8th and the 9th. They get all the way back within 1. Bottom 9, your last chance. Bader doubles. Buxton then gets intentionally walked. So you got 2 on, 1 out. And then Matt Wallner pop up to first. Trevor Larnach, your last chance. He strikes out swinging. So 9-8, that's your final. 37-40 now on the year. Biggest takeaways, kind of top it. What stuck out, I guess, the most today?
I mean, today the offense battled back at least, and that was not there the last 2 games. And I know the 9th inning and Friday night's game was one thing, but that was with a position player on the mound. So it was nicer to see the offense have more jolt to it. But again, this whole series, their defense was short on a lot of these ground balls that were hit right between infielders that could have been stopped one way or another, but the Brewers offense just hit him right between the holes, and that's how they really beat up on the Twins in this series, and it really played to their advantage super well up until this game when they had a few more home runs going their way. So, I mean, I was expecting more home runs today with how the wind was traveling in this humidity, and we got that from both the Brewers and thankfully Buxton as well. But yeah, man, there's so much raw in here. I mean, Festa was not having good control of his stuff today, and the bullpen looked a bit sharper than the last 2 games, but it's bad.
It's tough too when bullpen comes in, you're down 9-3. I mean, that just seems to be the situation and issue more times than not. We've just all been banging the table. Unless it's your Bailey Ober or Joe Ryan, like we need these guys to just give us 5 strong, right? And that just hasn't been the case the last couple weeks. Let's go to our biggest turning point in this.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
All right, give me your biggest turning point. You got to pick one, right? Couple options to choose from, I kind of feel like. But when was the kind of pivotal turning point, though, from your lens today?
Those last 2 at-bats from Wallner and Larnach could have been a lot better. Pop out and then just looking at strike three. And this is a guy they are not unfamiliar with Trevor McGill. He was in their own bullpen not too long ago. And he was not as good with the Twins as he has been with Milwaukee, but this is a guy they should know what he has and be a little more familiar compared to others. And they just did not show up. So it's easy to say it was won or lost in the last at bat, but that's truly the case here.
How ironic. The one time we get Byron Buxton looks like he's just truly healthy. Obviously had that, injury scare when he collided with Correa about a month and a half ago, but truly looks 100% at this point, more or less, putting up career numbers, but yet the Twins are just an absolute dumpster fire right now. They're just a mess. But kind of put into the words best you can what he's doing at the plate as of late, because it's been truly one of the very few highlights to sit down and watch if you're a Twins fan.
No, it's been phenomenal. I mean, most of what he's been doing, especially since he came off the concussion IL, where there was a little concern if, some of what would happen before with him and his injury history of things, taking their time for him to ramp back up and really jolt himself into this lineup. But that hasn't been the case. He got 7 home runs and 20 RBIs since he came back from the IL, including the 2 home runs he had today. So this is fantastic. It's a shame no one else is hitting around him, and when they are, it's too little too late, as it was in today's case. So I don't know what needs to happen. I don't want to see this season wasted with Byron Buxton, and obviously he's not going anywhere. So what they need to do, especially right now, is kind of take a lead from what the San Francisco Giants did. Obviously they're not going to pull in a big contract like the Giants did with Rafael Devers a week ago, but get a jump start early before this really gets away from you. Go get an extra bat that might help out, balance this lineup out, because they absolutely need it.
Is there anybody in particular you're thinking about just in the back of your mind? I know there's a ton of options. I know, like you mentioned a few shows ago, so far away from the deadline, tough to even go down that road, but give me a name or two if you got one.
Well, I think they both the Twins got swept twice since the last time I was on the show with you. So that's why I'm like, okay, there's more urgency to be saying this stuff on June 22nd. The number one bat that comes to mind is Ryan O'Hearn with the Baltimore Orioles. He's left-handed, but he can be a platoon guy between first base and the corner outfield spots, hitting over 300. Honestly, would probably be the only all-star for the Orioles right now. But in the Orioles, what they need the most is pitching depth in their minor league system. And the Twins have enough of that right now. They don't have it as widespread as they did coming into the season, with a lot more injuries going on all around from the top to the bottom of this organization, but they still have a couple guys that might be able to entice getting O'Hearn on a rental deal, because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. So, might as well just get him for the next 81 games that they'll have coming up here and put him into this lineup and hope that he can be someone that can turn these things around for them.
Yeah, I like it. Make a move, right? Get the fans excited a little bit. Show them that you care a little bit. Aaron Gleeman tweet today, by the way, after Buxton's multi-homer game. Most multi-homer games in Minnesota Twins history. I don't know. Did you already see it? Am I spoiling this?
No, you're not.
I want you to take a stab. Most multi-homer games in Minnesota Twins history. Buxton now ranks 5th. In no particular order, can you rank the 4 guys ahead of him?
Well, obviously, Killebrew
number 1 by a mile, by the way. 35 by a mile. 35 multi-homer games.
Because he's second in franchise history. I'll have to say Kent Hrbek's one of them.
Kent Hrbek just 1 ahead of Byron Buxton now. So Byron Buxton potentially could tie or even surpass Kent Hrbek now on this list. And then you got one a little bit more new school, the M&M boys, right? And then a little bit more back to old school with Killebrew and Tony Oliva sitting there at 3rd at 18, and then Justin Morneau, 2nd place with 20. But, just a cool stat to see Byron Buxton and just, again, the things he can do when truly healthy. Plenty more deep dive from this one, more on the Twins' pitching struggles, and if that's here to stay, that's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Why I love FanDuel? When you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Getting some MLB future action if you dare. Twins plus 600 right now to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Okay, so Twins are 11-20 since that 13-game win streak ended. They've lost 5 series in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 9. But the team ERA, right? That's kind of the A topic. Ballooning, 3.28 ERA to well over 4 now. I don't have the exact number after today's 9 runs given up, but it was like 4.11 going into today. They've dropped from 6th best ERA in the league to like 22nd, I want to say. And that alone, by the way, almost feels impossible to do, but 127 runs in 139 innings, that'll do that, I suppose. So is this real, though, or is it a mirage? Like, is this what we should just buckle in and just kind of lower the bar, lower our expectations, I guess, until Pablo does, or maybe, never comes back at this point this year? That remains to be seen. But even without their ace, I guess, is what I'm asking, Theo. Is this just a bad, fluky funk they're in right now, or do you have some faith in the back of your mind things will turn around?
It's not going to be like this forever.
Okay.
It feels like that because we're in the middle of a very, very bad stretch, and a very god-awful series for pitching-wise. So MLB.com already has that finished team ERA from today's game. It's 4.17. Okay. Not great. They're 20th in the league now in that bottom third. And, through the first couple months, they definitely weren't pitching like that. But the month of June, they're looking like the worst team in baseball pitching-wise. But then again, the Colorado Rockies are out there, so maybe the second worst. Right. So there's that. But, yeah, this is not going to be a forever thing. They absolutely need to turn things around. How quickly that will happen, it's just so hard to say when you're in the middle of this really bad slump. But I mean, it
does feel like there's too much talent to be this bad, to drop off a cliff this because of one guy, right? It just, especially going in, even with Pablo, it felt like he had some good depth, right? He had 5 good arms in there, maybe even a 6th at the time. I know not just Pablo got hurt, but it just feels like being a prisoner of the moment right now. It's easy to take things pretty extreme and say it's over, shut it off, forget it, why even suit up and play? But there's still too much talent with Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober and company to be this bad forever. Nerdy stat? You got any nerdy stat, crazy analytic, Twins related?
Well, it's something they're on pace to do right now, which is probably have the first month of June in 30 years where they don't win even 10 games, which is not great. They still got 7 games to go and 6 wins in the month, so they just need to win 4 of their next 7, and that will not be the case. But 95 was the last time that happened. I think was it? They went 9-17 in June in 1995. So as long as they don't, lose more than 3 games, then we can avoid that. But
all right, let's try to avoid that.
Yeah,
let's try to avoid that. Don't go anywhere. Preview of the Seattle Mariners series on deck tomorrow. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members to date. For me and my money, it's just by far the easiest, most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. So simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less, 2 or more player stats. You watch the winnings roll in. Could be strikeouts, home runs, RBI, stolen bases, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay. Quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, staying at home. 3 more with Seattle tomorrow. No days off. First pitch, 6:40 tomorrow. Bailey Ober back on the mound. A quick little scouting report, 30-second scouting report on Seattle, what we need to know. And then what's the missing link right now for the Twins to start stringing some games together again and put a stop to all this madness?
Well, Seattle is also in a bit of a slump like the Twins, where they had a very competitive series, a lot of high-scoring runs against the Cubs at Wrigley.
So they're probably looking at their schedule going, what a perfect slump buster. We got the Minnesota Twins coming up.
Yeah. So they'll have Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow, and Wu was the starter for the Mariners and the Twins' big comeback win that they had an extra innings and won 12-6 on that Friday in that 3-game series they had in Seattle. He was dominant in his last start against the Red Sox earlier this week, but before that he was struggling, and so you got to hope that you're going to get the struggling side of Brian Wu tomorrow night for the offense, especially because, I mean, that's really where we got to focus it in on with the Twins right now is just this how bad this offense has been. And the Mariners have the best power hitter in baseball all of right now, Cal Raleigh. I mean, that dude's definitely putting himself in front of Aaron Judge for MVP talk, and he's an easy slam dunk for the All-Star game. It's unbelievable what he's doing, and he's probably going to be the first catcher ever with a 50 home run season. So,
dude, well, we saw it firsthand. What was that? 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Yeah, firsthand. The dude's an absolute monster, man. So gotta for sure keep him in the back of your mind, no doubt about it. Buck Truck hits 2 home runs today. Not enough. Twins get swept. They've now lost 8 of their last 9. 9-8. That's your final close one. 37-40 on the year now, 3 games below 500. Huge shout out, though, to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go check out all Theo's work, by the way, on X at Theodore Tollefson, plus all the work he's always putting up over at zonecoveragemn.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Seattle at home tomorrow. Game 1, 6:40 first pitch. Bailey Ober back on the mound. Catch you right here. Same time, same place. Until then, signing off.